Bruce Eckfeldt here. So we've been working with a couple of clients this last week, doing their quarterly plans, and we've been setting up some priorities and some objectives, some key results around what they're going to do in Q4, kind of end of Q3 and Q4. And something came up I thought it was important talking about, which is how confident do you need to be in these goals and objectives? So some people ask, like, should this be a slam dunk? Like, we should be only putting things on here that we're absolutely 100% confident that we're going to complete. Other people want to put on real stretch goals. They want to reach for the stars and hopefully hit the moon by putting things on there that are real stretches, are not super certain. They're at some level almost Hail Marys. And the advice that I give and what I've seen work best is work within about a 70 to 80% confidence interval. So if you're familiar with OKRs and how Google and Intel and John Doerr have worked with the OKR framework, and they advise that they suggest 70 to 80% confidence level, I found that works pretty well. And the reason it works well, why the 70 to 80% confidence level, if we are higher than that, if we're 90, 100% confident, it means we're 9 times out of 10 or 10 times out of 10 going to complete everything that's on the list. And the problem with completing everything on the list on a regular basis, on the vast majority of the time, is that we don't know how much more we could have done. We may have left gas in the tank, as I like to say. And we want to make sure that we are exhaustive, that we're really doing everything we can each quarter. We want to push it, right? We want to stretch a little bit. We want to stretch a fair amount each quarter. So on the long side or on the high confidence side, we don't want to under goal ourselves, right? That we're gonna leave capacity. We're not going to use up available capacity. If we do it on a regular basis, we're missing opportunity. The flip side is that if we're less than, if we're down at 60 or 50% or less, the reason that ends up not being a great strategy in the long term is twofold. One, it's demoralizing, quite honestly. I think a team that is only completing half their goals every time is psychologically setting themselves up for some frustration. The other reason is that if you just look at the time spent, if half the things that we plan and develop details analysis of and do the planning around and the assignments and the task level decomposition for half these things that we never actually complete, it means we're spending a lot of time, 50% of our time, on things that we don't actually finish. And so from an efficiency point of view, I don't think it's smart. I think that it's better to not bite off as much and spend more time chewing and swallowing the things that we do than being overly ambitious on a quarterly basis. So, both because of psychologically it's going to be frustrating, it's going to be demoralizing over time, and it's just not a very good use of time. I suggest staying at least in the 70, 80%. I would say 80% is my sweet spot. Oftentimes with teams, I'll actually be overly optimistic, or I'll be conservative, or I'll want them to bite off less and complete it. I'd rather have a team have a first quarter that they actually get everything done, or 95% of what they get done, and then want to bite off more than have a first quarter where they only get 50 or less than 50 done, and now they're kind of going into the next quarter a little bit demoralized. So again, my strategy, my recommendations, I'd be curious to get your thoughts. Put your comments below. But when goal setting, my suggestion is 70 to 80% confident. And if you haven't if you're not familiar with confidence intervals or how you dial that in, there's an exercise I have around that. You can email me, bruce@eckfeldt.com, or send me a direct message if you want. I'm happy to tell you more about that. Developing that muscle around confidence intervals is important. And it is something a team does over time. But 70 to 80%, that for me is kind of the optimal zone. 80% if you force me into a particular number, but that's my suggestion. Again, give me your comments below, or send me a message, bruce@eckfeldt.com. Love to get your thoughts. It's an important part of goal setting that I've played around with a long time, so that's where I've landed. I'd be curious to see if other people have other ideas. So good luck with your goals. If you need help with your goals, reach out. This is one of the core things I do with CEOs and my leadership team. So send me your thoughts. Look forward to getting them.